Just got back from Mexico, May 1st, a 4-month mission. Now it's June 21st towards Iowa, Nebraska, Colorado. This is what happens, man. At this beautiful lake here, and I'm gonna ride the mountain bike up along a man-made dam. Guinness World Record. How bad are the mosquitoes gonna be? They were pretty bad. Let me show you how bad they were. And that's how bad that was. Thank God for my snuff bottle for extra relief. Stoking denatured alcohol mixed in with citronella oil didn't help a bit. We're going mountain biking and hiking all day. Special mascot of the day is the Colorado horses. How you doing, guys? You doing okay? It's good to see ya. Good to see ya. Sorry I don't have any snacks or food for you, but it was really nice meeting you. Okay, and I gotta get on my way here. And I know you're very curious, but life is cool. So, thanks a lot, horsies. Doing another mountain bike and backpack expedition here. We've got 2.5 months here. We're not in any big rush to go anywhere or do anything. One of the reasons why we're starting so north in Colorado is because as the months go on, Colorado starts to snow in September. I smell a skunk out here, and that skunk doesn't like people or dogs. So I'm over at this abandoned silver mine shaft, and we're going to try to get in and check this thing out. The abandoned silver mine shaft. I would just like to confirm that we're in. So far, I've met some real cool people in Colorado. Colorado's a cool place to spend your summer. Hanging out, watching the thunderstorms move in. Check out a high altitude sunset. We're going on an afternoon day hike. No, we don't want to be back at the truck. No, we don't want to be at the campsite where we think we can camp. The best place for us right now is on top of the mountain. Hanging out with people, hiking and biking every single day for 2.5 months. Checked out the rave, the mini fest, and the music scene is totally happening. That's what I'm talking about, some badass Jeep roads all day long. Heart Attack Hill. We made it to the top of Heart Attack Hill, and now we're gonna down it. Definitely falls into the category of one of the most brutalest Jeep trails that I've ever had my mountain bike on. There's not too many people who challenge Heart Attack Hill. Heart Attack Hill has definitely been brutal going up, and it's going to be brutal going down. That was definitely a sweet run. We'll be doing a high altitude mountain bike ride. Let me show you on the map. On the GPS grid of Colorado, we're right there. And that's where we'll be doing our high altitude mountain bike run. So I'm cruising at like 11,000 something feet, and I see this animal from a real far distance. I'm thinking moose. So I started riding my mountain bike a lot closer to get a better zoom in. From what I saw after the animal split was furry, fresh antlers, real big, and it's not something that I want to get too close to. Spring-fed groundwater shower. Guess whose poo? Today's point of exploration will be Jack's Clutch. Jack's Clutch has been known by most mountain bikers as a gnarly, nasty, professional run. Takes you right up along some 12,000 foot peaks. It goes right along the wilderness boundary Let's get out, challenge it. There's a whole bunch of different types of flies out here, and each fly has a particular part of the season to bother you. Jack's Clutch has a memorial rock that pays tribute to the American bomber that smashed up against the hillside here. There were absolutely no survivors, and there's still wreckage here back in the forest. Hang out here and film a beautiful sunset. Places that we've explored are Mummy Range, current place of exploration, right up against Rocky Mountain National Park. We'll be attempting to get you over to these lakes over here, right on the boundary of wilderness. Right behind me is what I think is the coolest jungle gym I've ever seen. Kind of looks like the training course that, even with all the safety gear on and everything, you could get badly injured. Word up on the moose. If you see a moose with a baby calf and she comes towards you, she's coming towards you to stomp you to death. Today's day hike will be Stormy Peaks Pass. We'll be looking for wreckage of an American bomber that went down in this area right about there. Sky Ranch. Don't know where the road's going, so we're taking a left and we're heading down it. The road's kind of rough and there's some big boulders sticking out of the ground that'll take your oil pan off. Big, beautiful rustic building, and they got a jungle gym on the side there, and it's a camping ground. One thing I liked about Sky Ranch is that I asked them about breakfast and lunch. They said they were going to have lunch at 12 o'clock. I wasn't questioned or stereotyped in any way. I felt a good vibe. They said that they were having a ceremony and they were playing music and singing songs, and bongos were welcome. We all come to Sky Ranch for a lot of different reasons. Come to Sky Ranch to get away from the norm, the hidden corruption in the world, the unseen corruption, the legal corruption. Lunch and we socialize, make friends, and we talk about all our worldly travels. Kenny left Sky Ranch, good positive attitude, and let's move on down the road. Doing a day hike at Bel Air Lake. To Stormy Pass is extremely brutal and long. Getting to Stormy Pass on a nice, bright, clear, sunny day is always questionable. Openings and views along the way. There was this huge rock, granite, bouldered mountainside. Definitely the type of slabs of granite that you need to rock hop on. Perspective of how big the Rocky Mountains really are. And the 12,143 feet that we're in gives you a good perspective of altitude. It's an all-day hike. Woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning to check out the stars and the constellations and the Milky Way in the area, and it was absolutely spectacular. And that will be our general point of exploration. This big lake. We'll polish off our day with a beautiful base camp view. West, still going west here. It's a very high altitude area. The weather's been a big problem. Then we got over to here, Cloud Public, going all the way up towards BML land. It made sense to me that before we head into our first town, Walden, that we'd chill out for the night. Some BML land right down here. That's easier said than done. So I'm heading down the road towards the BML land, and I'm finding out that BML land is not very well marked. So I do a speculation. I'm looking on one side of the road, and there's a barbed wire fence. I'm looking on the other side of the road, and there's no barbed wire fence. I pull off to a nice wide intersection on the road, and I start chilling out. We've been having a huge problem with mosquitoes, horseflies, all kinds of flies, and all kinds of bugs, and there's a lot of them. An epidemic proportions. So we hop on the mountain bike and we start heading down that dirt road, any road that we can find. And we never know exactly where we're going. So we start heading back to our base camp, and we notice that there's a sheriff's pickup truck watching my vehicle. I slowly rolled towards my vehicle on my little mountain bike. I want you to know that the sheriff and his buddies were real nice. They found out on their topo exactly where the BML land that I was looking for was. Poorly marked. Whenever I say we, I mean you and me. We rolled into Walden, and I just want you to know that everybody was real nice in the small town of Walden. Wasn't too much going on there, and that's the way I like it. Running some errands in Walden, got over to the reservoir, headed down the county road here. Now we're hanging out at these 3 lakes right here. That'll be our place of exploration. We're having a real big problem with the beetle bark bug, and it's been taking out a lot of our national forests here. There's a lot of dead, browned out trees, and they're just acres of them sitting there, and it's like it's real dry fuel. I'm real scared about getting too far into that type of situation with thunder and lightning. Let's just say we're staying on the green part of town and cool high altitudes. I woke up at my lakefront property, stepped outside to take a pee, standing there doing the business, and all of a sudden a whole bunch of mosquitoes came around. Finished my business and then started, looking to see how bad they were. They were an epidemic. They were excruciating. We got on 14 and we started to head for the hills, away from the mosquitoes, up to a higher range, the Continental Divide, Buffalo Pass. That'll bring us up to a point of about 10,500 feet. Point of exploration. And there's Kenny hanging out in a big pile of horse manure in his lawn chair. Life is good. Spring-fed glory holes from the snow melt, and it just goes on and on. There's waterfalls everywhere. The mosquitoes are right up there with Canada. They're swarming fiercely. Beautiful glory holes everywhere.
Get it!
I suck at the dance, man. Word is born.
On this Colorado trip, we'll be looking for semi-precious, and right in back of me, I found the Mother Lode. I rate this as one of the most awesome high-altitude lakes. It's a guaranteed steady breeze to keep the mosquitoes away. Cool rock of Lou Burl. We're gonna go hunt for our cool rocks. Some of the specimens are definitely gem quality cool rocks. I'm addicted to cool, colorful rocks. I can never seem to bring home enough of them. The rockhound always has his nose to the ground. Quality mosquito Canadians away. Definitely moments out of the day where I'm thinking that I'm going to be eaten alive. I rolled into Walden. Walden was great. You know why? 'Cause there wasn't too much going on at all. Rolled into the grocery store, rolled over to the hardware store, had a little problem with my denatured alcohol stove, homemade. The guy set me up with some steel racks. He said, pay for the welding gloves. I like people that don't want to sell me a whole bunch of stuff. I like Walden. Walden, thumbs up, because Walden's got something going on, but not a lot going on. It's good. Set up our base camp, waterfowl around, and the good news is that no one stopped by to bother us. As long as we can keep up with the no one bothering us issue, it's cool, man. Camping with Kenny. So let's get back to minding our own business. Let's just say I'm kinda in the hood. Check out the road conditions along the way so we don't wind up like our buddy over here. Flat tire statistic. And it looks like we're staying here for as long as we can because we got plenty of provisions. There's a lot of wild trout running through the rivers and tributaries. It's a very sporty fish. Let's not forget our grab bag full of tunes. So grab in the bag, it's full of tapes. Pop it in. You never know what you're gonna get. Let's talk about the most dangerous things that have happened on our journey so far. I've been caught twice on the mountain bike in a high altitude thunderstorm, 9,500 feet, 11,000 feet. I've been hailed on. I've had lightning strikes right over my head. And at the same time, I had to ride through a section of high tension power lines. Very high winds and a lot of dead trees around me ready to fall or catch on fire. Is that if I die doing what I love to do. We don't want that to be a horrible death, but we want it to be brief and sudden. And that will be our point of exploration. We definitely had a really cool day today. Put on the scuba gear and paddled around the lake looking at wild trout. Got back on the mountain bike and cruised around and explored other areas in the national forest. Point of exploration, Long Lake. Got on the west side of the dam. I noticed that off in the distance in the horizon, mini microburst. It's small and very powerful. Started filming from a distance right away. When it started to get too close, we hopped on the mountain bike and started bolting for our base camp. On the way to our base camp, we filmed the porcupine scared running up a tree. Got back to the base camp, set up the tripod, and started filming that mini microburst and kicking our butts. The thunderstorm pushing over was quite unique and quite rare because it happened at the late evening, and not only did we get good footage of the thunderstorm pushing through, but we got evening sunset pushing over the lake. Timing of that was absolutely perfect. And they need a driver. Just got out of steamboats so they can. And I was cruising down the road and I saw this guy with a bunch of gear. And I hear there's no regulations and it's a really cool hobby. That we are at the launch site. The reason why I got to film this for you is because I nominated myself as the driver to drive the guys up the ski lift so they could launch. Now I'm gonna go back and drive down and film an awesome landing. I'll be driving a nice 4x4 top-of-the-line loaded SUV. Thank you very much, and I'd like to thank our hang gliding team for doing their stuff.
Right on. We landed in this field behind us.
Yep.
I lucked out, went to 12,000 3 times, 12,000 feet. Everyone else, it was one of those days.
We're launching at 11,000 feet. Reserved parachute.